Tyler Shough's rookie report card is in, and it says that he was the best rookie quarterback from the 2025 NFL Draft.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I'm Damian, Parson. That's Keith Sanchez. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. The rookie report card for Tyler Shough, the New Orleans Saints rookie quarterback from the 2025 NFL Draft. We're going to explain our grades and talk about how the NFL Draft for 2026 may have helped him elevate his particular performance going into 2026 NFL season. Talk about the concerns, what we saw on film, and then we're going to kick the show off with the pros when it pertains to Tyler Shough. Keith, Tyler Shough, man, statistically had a pretty solid rookie season. Completed 67% of his passes, threw for 2,384 yards. He had 13 total touchdowns between rushing and throwing. When you turn on the film and watched a couple games of Tyler Shough for his rookie season, what were some of the things that stood out to you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with DP, a word that's not physical tools, but it's more of an intangible confidence. I thought he played with confidence, DP, and for a rookie quarterback, there was almost it's a couple different phrases, right? But the you don't know what you don't know, right? And that helped him, right? Like that, he was just like, hey, let's see what happens, right? Let's go out there and figure it out. But I thought that it turned into positive plays, right? Like it was like, you know what? Like I'm not allowing the moment to be too big for me, right? Like, you know what? This is football. I'm playing for the New Orleans Saints. You threw me in. We're not doing very good this season. Let's figure this out, right? Let's see what happens. And so, for my opinion, I thought it was confidence, and I thought the confidence translated to him being able to make plays, and that was him utilizing his legs, escaping the pocket, right? And when he escaped the pocket, DP, I thought there were two options for him, right? There was tucking the ball, running, picking up first downs, picking up significant yardage to be able to move the chains and put them in good situations. But then there's also escaping the pocket to extend the play to be able to throw the football down the field, right? I thought that there were two elements that came from that, in my opinion. But to me, it all started with confidence. Like he had confidence in himself to just say, hey, let's figure it out. Like, and also, you want your quarterback to take every moment seriously, but he didn't take the moment too seriously, if that makes sense, right? It was just like, hey, like, come on, let's play football. We've been doing this for a very long time. It's 100 yards. It's it's a touchdown. It's an end zone. We got 4 downs. Like to me, it appeared that he approached it from that perspective. And I had the opportunity to interview him at the Senior Bowl, had a sit-down conversation with him. Obviously, I'm from New Orleans, right? So, and he plays in New Orleans, right? I'm not a Saints fan, so this is not a biased thing that I want the Saints to have a great quarterback. This is just my perspective on having a conversation with him, was that I thought that the other word was aware. He came off a very aware young man, right? Like, hey, this is this, had a good perspective on life and just the situation. And so I think it's going to be the intangibles for Tyler Shough that propels him forward because of how he approaches the game of football.
No, 100%. Kid. I love that, because you're talking about the confidence. I put that into leadership too. Like he injected a different energy into the New Orleans Saints team and offense, right? And one of the main things, I really appreciated with his game, Keith. Like, and remember, Keith, I said it on this podcast when he came out as a prospect. I said, man, I liked his film a whole lot more than everybody else did in the draft space. I said, this is a guy, and the things that translated: anticipatory throws, running a pro style offense, going through his progressions. This isn't a quarterback that they say, hey, you got hash the sideline only. You got 2 reads over there. Yeah, did they do that sometimes? Sure, to the boundary, right? But you saw a lot of concepts, especially later in the season, where they said, Tyler, you got the full field. Read it, get the ball out, hit your target. And he did just that. There was such a confidence in the pocket and throwing the football, Keith. The anticipatory throws, and not just to Chris Olave, but to all. Like, at one point, I was watching the second matchup because he beat he had a for those who care about win-loss records for quarterbacks, I personally don't. It's a whatever. But he had a winning record. He had 5 wins to 4 losses, right? And 2 of those wins came against Carolina Panthers. His first start, for those who don't know, his first start came against the Los Angeles Rams. He came in around 3rd quarter the week before against the Buccaneers and everything. And it was just like, yeah, his first 2 heavy throwing games, it wasn't great for Tyler Shough. You know what I mean? He threw an interception. He was late on throws. He just kind of looked like he was just trying to tread water. You know what I mean? Those first, like the second half of that Bucs game, and then the whole game against the Rams. Then they traveled to the Carolina Panthers in week 10, and he threw for almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, with only like 5 or 6 incompletions, and they won by 10. And you saw a quarterback, and I watched the second game as well, week 15 against Carolina, and he was stellar in that game too. And you saw a quarterback, Keith, that was so confident what the play calling was, with the weapons, everything. Like, he played quick, he played fast, he played free, and I love watching him, right? Like, he wasn't putting the ball in harm's way as he did a couple weeks prior and different things like that. This was a guy that absolutely understood the moment and had a grasp of the offense, because he was coming up to the line of scrimmage, like handling all the pre-snap calls and checks. When teams blitzed him and sent simulated pressure, like he read it, he saw it, he knew what he was getting into, checked, set the protection, and got the ball out hot. Kurt Warner always says, have answers versus pressure. And I felt like Shough did a really good job, Keith, overall, getting the ball out against pressure and against throwing that anticipation. I mean, he's like halfway through his throwing motion as the receiver is getting ready to sink his hips and drive out of breaks. And I'm like, oh yeah, you really trust this connection, because you get there early.
Right. And I think that's a big part of quarterbacking, right? Like stepping in and to be able to do that early on, right? Like, it's just like, you know what, I got to release this thing and let this thing go, right? And that goes into another strength that we talked about, the anticipation part of it, right? And that's something that we seen at Louisville, DP, that we you came on here and said you liked him a lot more than a lot of people. And then we discussed him and it was like, seems like a fairly solid quarterback prospect to me, right? like the guy can play football, something, right? So it's crazy, but I think there were elements of that translated to him playing kind of free and loose and just saying, I have to do what I have to do. So I as far as strengths, DP, like I said, there's an intangible and then there's the tangibles, right? The physical tools. I think he also showed that he has plenty enough physical tools to play quarterback in the NFL. And if I'm not mistaken, for a lot of people, I thought that they questioned that, right? Like that was the thing. It's like, oh, how strong is his arm? He has a noodle arm. It's not going to get there. But I think he showed both, that I have the running ability and physical tools. And he obviously went through the combine and showed people like, no, I could run. Like, I'm a really good athlete. And then I thought throwing the football, the NFL combine, also the NFL combine for him was a kind of like a double-edged sword.
It was an experience.
Yeah. That's a great phrase.
It was an experience.
It was you know what, and he might be a top 3 guy that like kind of stole the show for multiple different reasons, right? Like the NFL Combine, that brand was the Tyler Shough experience, right?
Yes,
because he ran.
It was some good. It was some bad. At the Combine with him.
Yep, he ran a really fast 40 time. I think what people were not expecting. I think they thought solid, but he ran a really fast 40 time. And then the arm action, slot angles, throwing the football. That was
he was out there just testing stuff, man. I was like Tyler, you a bold dude, brother, because this is a combine, man. It's the biggest interview of your life, as they like to say in the NFL. And he was out there just winging it. But it felt like it wasn't just winging it.
Chips in the middle of the table.
Oh yeah, he pushed everything. He's like, you know what, I'm going for it, and to the point where it was calculated. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just doing this just to do it. Like, he wanted to showcase, hey, I can throw off balance. I can throw off platform. And I was like, yeah, you don't really see that at the combine, you know. But to be honest, Keith, I truly believe they should absolutely incorporate some drills like that, where you have to throw off platform.
You know what it felt like, DP? It felt like pro day, right?
Yeah.
It felt like the Zach Wilson rollout throw, right?
Yeah.
Where he trying to execute that. And then another famous pro day, I think, was it Johnny Manziel with the quarterback, George Whitfield? Remember? And Johnny might have been the first guy to actually put the helmet and shoulder pads on, and then the brooms running around, right? Like it felt like he turned it into his pro day, kind of like he was like, you know what? I'm gonna just show some
you everything I got. Everything I got. You guys are gonna get it, Keith. I thoroughly enjoy watching him because again, it's similar to how we talked about with Cam Ward and even with Jackson. Like you expect some of the slow starts as rookies, but you want to see the game slow down, see you play faster, see you play better and more consistent. I started seeing that down the stretch for Tyler Shough.
Yep, I agree with DP. Let's talk about the concerns, right? There were a lot of things that we liked about Tyler Shough, but obviously no rookie quarterback is perfect. So we're going to talk about the things, the concerns, the things he needs to improve on as a rookie quarterback heading into his second year. And everything points to him being a full-time starter for the New Orleans Saints. So he has an entire season. What should he be working on? We'll talk about that coming up next.
We can stream anything, order food in minutes, do everything from our phones, and somehow buying tickets to live events still feels way harder than it should be. Long lines, confusing checkouts, prices jumping at the last second. It shouldn't be that difficult or complicated. And that's why there is Game Time. It gives fans the advantage and makes getting tickets fast and simple. You can go right now on the Game Time website and you will see full prices up front. No surprise fees at checkout. The seat views are major. You can check out your exact view before you purchase your tickets. Guys, take the guesswork out of buying tickets to every type of event. I'm talking comedy shows, basketball, football, MLB, sports, concerts, whatever. Take the guesswork out of buying these tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Breaking down the concerns for New Orleans Saints second-year quarterback coming off his rookie season, Tyler Shough. Don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club, though, for ad-free episodes and access to the group chat with me, Keith, and other listeners of the show. Tap the link in the show notes to go to LockedOnNFLDraft.supercast.com. Keith, the concerns when it comes down to Tyler Shough, I felt like, watching him again, I love this tape, I love this film, really excited for the future of what this year will look like for him. I think his ball placement needs work. I think his ball placement is one of the things I want to see him improve. Is he an accurate quarterback? Yeah, I think his accuracy is good. Especially the NFL level, we saw he can put the ball between the numbers. But sometimes, Keith, I think we get as a community, I think we get fixated on guys putting the ball between the numbers. Sometimes throw your guy away from coverage and let him get the yak. That's a big part in today's NFL because his throws are like. And again, he's anticipating things like that, and I'm like, okay, let's add a little bit of leading with your passes to that anticipatory throws, where you got guys on running end breakers, and instead of them stopping and catching the ball, yes, they got the first down, but there's a void over there in this zone that if they catch it in stride and they can easily drop step and turn up field, they can get you 10, 15 more yards, and it becomes an explosive play. And instead of a 10-yard in cut off a dagger, it's a 10-yard with a 15-yard yak. That's a 25-yard play. Just boom, big explosive play. I want to see him get better with his ball placement because sometimes it's either it's a little bit behind or it's just right there on the number, and it just limits their receivers from being able to turn into runners after the catch. I think that's a big thing that can really unlock, especially you adding a Jordyn Tyson to this offense, adding an Oscar Delp, which we're going to talk about in the next segment as well. After we explain the grade, you got some weapons that can make plays with the football in their hands. Give them the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I want to ask you, DP, how when you mentioned that, but how impactful? I think that's the better question. How impactful do you think that is? Do you him not getting that part right? Is it a hindrance to his game? Or you think it's like a detailed part of his game, or you think if this can determine if you're going to be a good or bad quarterback, how much is the ball placement a part of it? Because that's huge, right? Because I agree with you, he's an accurate quarterback, but taking that next step, and then you see quarterbacks that don't take the next step sometimes. So I want to ask you, how big of a element do you think that is to his game?
I think it's a big element that he has to improve because I think he could be a good quarterback, and he showcased he's a good quarterback right now. I think that he could be potentially a great quarterback, Keith, because of the fit. We talked about the end, he anticipates, he's accurate, he's got the requisite size. And for those who have never seen him, he's just at 6'5", almost 230 pounds. So he's got that traditional size build, but also he's got a strong arm, and he's a athlete, as you talked about, athletic quarterback with really good mobility. So when I look at Tyler Shough, Keith, I think it's a big part of his game that needs to grow, because that sets that threshold, or it's that next barometer that you have to clear, that next hurdle in a sense, right? To clear for your career, because now it takes you from being a good quarterback to being a great quarterback, to being that QB friendly quarterback where people talk around the league and us as analysts in the media, NFL media, talk about, man, not only is he accurate, but he gives his guys a chance down the field. But on those crossing patterns, things like that, he's hitting guys in stride, and now they get yak and he leaves yards on the field, in my opinion. Right. And I'm not saying that he aims, but I feel like he's trying to be as accurate as possible and everything. And then sometimes I just want to see him just rip that throw, but lead your guy, right? Especially against man coverage. If you're throwing that crosser route, that end breaker, you got a corner trailing. Like, you know what I mean? Like in the NFL, that you don't want your guy to get tackled at the catch. Like, hey, we caught the ball, first down, that's great, but our guy got tackled. No, you want to be able to lead him, let him catch that ball, and let him get up. Especially when you got an athlete like Chris Olave, who we know is like, what? Didn't he run like 4.4, 4.3 when he came out and everything like that, if I'm not mistaken? So when you got athletic guys, or you get like an Oscar Delp, a Juwan Johnson against a linebacker that can't really run with them, not just across runs, but even vertical shots. Like, I want to see him get better on vertical shots as well. Get the ball out there, get it to him where they can catch it and run. And that's going to allow your offense to, because again, the game it's not just a game of inches, but it's just margin for error. Like, I'd rather be able to get a chunk play and get inside the 5, or that chunk play turns into a touchdown, rather than have to consistently matriculate our way down the field. Like, that's just it's hard to play like that in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing I would say he has to improve on as far as his concerns is eliminating the negative plays, right?
Yep.
And I think that comes with being a rookie quarterback, the game moving fast at times, but understanding that, hey, my athleticism is good and that's fine, but sometimes my athleticism is translating to I'm athletic enough to get out of the pocket and throw the football away, and that's okay, right? I think there were times where, like, hey, let me get out the pocket and then make some stuff happen, and it can convert it to a negative play. And when I'm saying negative play, I'm not even just saying like interceptions, right? I'm talking about a sack, right? Or, it's 1st and 10, then you're running towards out of bounds, and now it's 2nd and 12. No, throw the football out of bounds, so then it's 2nd and 10, right? Like, like taking the yardage. Don't take the yardage for granted, right? And understanding that if we're moving forward, we're good, right? They always, what's the phrase, DP? You can't go broke taking a profit. Yeah, like, and I think he understands, like, hey, $5, but if we keep getting $5, eventually gonna be $100, right? Like
exactly.
Understanding that part of it, because I thought that there were times that he took risks and was kind of gambling a little bit to make big plays, but I kind of put that. And you give all of these quarterbacks some element of grace because they're rookies. I kind of put that in the rookie bucket, but he can't do that year 2, 3, 4, and 5 either. Right? If
no, 100%. No, I love that, Keith, because I saw the same thing, and I agree with you wholeheartedly with that. I add to, again, it's a rookie thing. It's the eyes, right? He threw a pick against Miami. They were running, I think, cover 2 with the soft cloud corners on the outside, but they made it look like man and everything. So once he realized it was zone, and they ran, I think the slot receiver ran like a quick hitch, and they ran like a vert, I think with Chris Olave trying to take that corner out the picture, and he locked in post snap. He didn't really, I don't think he truly read the play. Like, he just snapped the ball, looked directly where his guy was going, and Rasul Douglas jumped it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, against savvy vet corners, and especially with so much zone in today's NFL, you got to make sure you again, game of inches, game of centimeters, game of yards. You got to move that guy out the way. You got to hold that guy. Look at Chris Olave. Make him think, hey, he might be going vertical, to where he tries to carry that to eliminate the space between Olave getting into the honey hole shot between him and the safety, and that him drifting back to keep Olave at bay allows you to drive that ball to the quick hitch. Instead, he looked directly at the quick hitch. And these guys are going in the NFL, they're going to read your eyes. The best defenders are going to read your eyes in the NFL. So I want to see him from an eye manipulation standpoint, don't look directly at your guy. Don't stare at your first read and everything. That was like the Miami game. And I was like, okay, yeah, you can't do that. Like, you know what I mean? That was probably his, I would say his like 1, 2, 3. That was his 4th start, right? So again, rookie grace. You know what I mean? It's not like the biggest thing. Like, yeah, if this is like year 3 or 4 and you still staring down reads, like, okay, we got a problem. You know, like we can't do that. But like, I give him some grace, just something to watch. You know, because again, he does go through his progressions. But sometimes I think, too, we talked about on yesterday's show with Shedeur, these quarterbacks get baited into, oh, this is what they're running pre-snap, and you think, okay, I know what my answer is against this coverage, and not accounting for, well, they might change the picture. Yeah. They might switch it up. So definitely want to see him just kind of, you know, that football IQ take that next step with them as well, to where it's like, hey, read the coverage, read the defense post snap to make sure that you're protecting the football at all costs.
Yep. Well, DP, let's get into my favorite part of the show, right? Where we drop the draft grade, the rookie draft grade, and then we're going to explain this in context, right? Because we know for these rookie quarterbacks, things are changing, right? Some of them are getting help, right? Some of them are going the opposite way of help. But Tyler Shough got a brand new weapon in Jordyn Tyson, the Saints drafted in the 1st round of wide receiver out of Arizona State. How does that help him move forward? So we're going to talk about his rookie grade, but then also talk about the context, right? What do we expect from Tyler Shough moving forward into year 2 as the full-time starter for the New Orleans Saints? We'll discuss that coming up next.
Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for Sponsored Jobs. Indeed, Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsor job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in America. It's all because of you. Explaining the grade for the rookie report card for Tyler Shough, quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Keith, what grade did you give the Saints' new quarterback?
I gave him a B, DP. And I gave him a B. I think him and Cam Ward, right? After this is our 4th one, right? We did Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, him. I thought he played up there, and I gave Cam Ward a B, if I'm not mistaken. I thought those two were the better rookie quarterbacks. And obviously Jackson Dart, a lot of, you know, conversation around him being in New York media, XYZ. But I thought Tyler played better than Shedeur Sanders as a rookie quarterback. I thought he played better than Shedeur Sanders, right? So I think I said Shedeur Sanders better than Jackson Dart. I'm sorry. He played better than, I was like, wait, I repeated that twice. He played better than Jackson Dart and played better than Shedeur Sanders as a rookie quarterback. I thought he played on par with Cam Ward. I thought there were a lot of things to be excited about. I thought there were a lot of things to like. And like I said, it's hard to explain to people, right? And we always tell y'all, you know, our listeners, our guys, like, hey, go watch the film, right? But there's something to watching confidence, right? Like, and it's hard to explain. It's an intangible. Like, how do you watch somebody be confident playing quarterback? Like, you can see it, right? You can see it and understand it. And I think the confidence with Tyler Shough is going to propel him forward. So I gave him a B. What grade did you give him?
Keith, I gave him a B+. I really enjoyed.
Oh, you all in?
I'm all in. I'm getting Shough tonight, baby. I'm getting Shough tonight.
Shough tonight.
I'm all in on Tyler Shough, Keith, and I loved the stuff I saw at Louisville. I was like, man, if he didn't have the injuries and he's able to play 2 or 3 full seasons, or just 2 full seasons, I honestly believe he probably, the way he played at Louisville, the good, the flashes, the good, the strong play. You do that for 2 years, Keith. Eliminate some of those kind of cartoonish turnovers that he had. He's probably a 1st-round pick. You know what I mean? And what did I say when I came on here and we broke down Tyler Shough? I said I liked him better than Jackson Dart. I felt like he was a better prospect. Dart just had a cleaner profile, no injuries, things like that and whatnot. So I give him a B+.
And this is another thing since we're addressing it. A lot of people made a big deal about the age. Remember?
Yeah.
And this bothers me. And I just need 30 seconds, DP.
I get when we get into
the age of quarterbacks are the most protected people on the field, right? First of all. Second of all, they usually play 15 to 20 years, right? Like if you got a good quarterback, you want to play 15 years. So if you not drafting a quarterback because he's 25 and you're like, oh no, he's too old. Okay, so he's going to play till he's 40 instead of 41. Like you know what I'm saying? Like what context are we addressing here? Like the idea is to draft a good quarterback. And listen, there's some positions where I say, hey, age may play a factor, right? If you're talking about a running back, he's coming out of college, he's 25. Yeah. I get it, but we're talking about a quarterback. Like they wear red jerseys in practice. They don't get touched in practice, right? Then you can't hit their helmet. If you touch the top of their helmet in the game, it's a 15-yard penalty. So that was one part that I was like, I'm not understanding it. Like we can't apply the age thing to quarterbacks. I didn't get it. I'm sorry, DP. I needed 30 seconds. That was my 30 seconds.
Hey, listen, I let you get the ISO, brother. Go ahead and talk that talk because it is something. It's something that we're gonna have to deal with for quite some time. Like some of these quarterbacks, whether it be injury related, they're getting the extra year. We just saw Trinidad Chambliss go back for another year, right? There's a player, I can't remember what school he went to. He wasn't a quarterback, but I think he got his 9th year of eligibility. I'm like, college football, stop doing this.
Yeah, there was a tight end out of Miami. I remember that. I think last year, the tight end from
last year. He was like 7, 8 years in. I'm like, all right, man, you should be pulling 401k at this point. Like, we can't keep doing this. But, like, yeah, it's like quarterbacks, no, it doesn't matter nearly as much. The only time it's going to matter for me is if you are a quarterback that's physically limited with, like, arm strength. Because then, like, the closer you get to 30 and 30, like, yeah, if you're 26 coming to the draft and your arm is already average, like, by the time you get to 30, 31, you might be a rookie contract guy for us, right?
Yeah,
but
and I could see if you 25 and you still playing bad, right? Then we got an issue, right?
Then we got a freaking issue.
But if you're playing great football at 25, then I'm
perfectly fine. I'm good with it. That means you're seasoned, and I'm good with it, right? You know, like we like our food seasoned. I want my quarterbacks and my players on my team seasoned, like they've seen things. Another reason why I'm really big on what I saw from Tyler Shough, I talked about that week, like 15 matchup against the Panthers at home. Do you know who he was throwing to in that game? Okay, yeah, you got Chris Olave, you got Juwan Johnson,
Devon Vile, like it's
not
a great
Vile, Kevin Austin Jr., and then Mason Tipton was out there hooping, and I'm like, yeah, this is rough. Like, so for context, guys, Rashid Shaheed just got paid for the Seahawks. Yep. He was traded. Rashid Shaheed finished 3rd on the Saints in receiving yards with 499 while he was there, right? Like he played 9 games or whatever it was. I think for them, like, you know, per NFL Pro, I'm looking at, he was 3rd on the team still in receiving. Like he wasn't even on the roster
after he got traded.
Man. Crazy. So I'm just like, Juwan,
and that's halfway through the season, DP.
Halfway through the season, like, you know, like halfway through the season. Alvin Kamara was their leading rusher. But he only played 11 games because he got hurt in week 12 against Atlanta. And
even then, you're still the Cleveland Browns right now. I'm like that's what people have to understand, that sometimes when you wait till the end of the season, right? Like, you're not dealing with a regular roster. That's not the starting roster. There are so many different backups and people, number 3 wide receivers having to fill a number 1 role, and
Devin Neal was running the ball. Audric Estime, who was a castaway from the Broncos, he was toting the rock for them because I think Devin Neal had a good showing, and then he got banged up, and then Audric Estime stepped in. You know, you still got Taysom Hill doing things, and I'm just like, man, to see the way he played and the confidence he played with just a revolving door of supporting cast, and it's just like he didn't care. So I'm thinking, okay, Keith, that's when we had this conversation. How excited going into year 2, knowing you got Bryce Lance that they drafted, who's a big, athletic, explosive threat to be that kind of XZ receiver to pair with Chris Olave, getting Jordyn Tyson at pick 8. Adding Oscar Delp to go some 12 personnel. Oh, don't forget they went and got Travis Etienne, who left the Jaguars, and he's a pass catcher, explosive runner, zone guy, things of that nature to lead that that situation, this looks much better. I mean, they had Brandon Cooks start 3 games last year at this stage of his career, man. Like, this was rough watching this offense and what he had around him, Keith. And I'm just like, yeah, there's no reason. I mean, they had 2. Okay, Chris Olave had 156 targets. Juwan Johnson had 102 targets. There's a reason for that. Those are the only guys you can really trust game to game. So I'm going to feed them guys with as much targets as possible, man. I'm excited for year 2 of Tyler Shough, because if he works on the things we talked about, Keith, and now you add all the players I just listed off to this offense, Kellen Moore, I think they have a chemistry and a rhythm. I truly believe the stock is up for Tyler Shough heading into year 2. And I'll say this, Keith, it might come off as a bold statement. If he improves and takes that next step, he's going to be the best quarterback in that division, in the NFC South. He's going to take that title from Baker, and the Saints.
That is
honestly,
a bold statement, DP. That's a bold statement. That's bold. That's bold.
The Saints continue to do what they're doing. I love how they've built around them. They could be the team that you fear out of that division in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I thought I was going to have a bold statement. I think that was interesting. My statement was, and to wrap this show up, is that I think of the rookie quarterbacks, the Saints have now placed him in position to where he has the most advantageous supporting cast. And I'm looking forward to potentially him having the biggest leap as a rookie quarterback from rookie to second year. Like, all of those pieces, DP, that's 2 wide receivers that you talked about. So now you have Chris Olave, Jordyn Tyson, Bryce Lance. That's 2 tight ends now, because you got Juwan Johnson and Oscar Delp. You added offensive line help. You went and got another running back. So you have Alvin Kamara and Travis Etienne. I think that he potentially has the best supporting cast of the rookie quarterback. So I'm excited to see what Tyler Shough does as a year 2 quarterback, having a full offseason to be able to grow and develop, stepping in, knowing he's the man. Should be fun, should be interesting. This young man with a lot of physical tools. But DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. Want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on Twitter at The Talent Code. You can find my guy DP on Twitter at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all can talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.